So today we have another one of our capital update videos, and we're lucky to have the Comptroller of the state, Kevin Lembo. And
Good.
welcome, Kevin.
It's great to see you.
Thank you. Kevin has already been to the tax section of the CBA. Last week, you spoke to a number of the managing partners of major firms in some of for breakfast. And you're going, I guess, next week to the LGBT
I think that's right.
section.
Next week,
Yeah.
week after. Yes.
Yeah. And you've got your eye on money in the state,
I do.
or money that's there or not there, and trying to figure out all the details with that.
Indeed.
What are kind of like the maybe the three major issues that you're seeing, that you in your position, that you've got to deal with?
So I report to the people and to the governor at the beginning of every month where we are versus what we had budgeted. So that means I'm the guy who says, this is what you said you were going to do, this is what you said by way of revenue that was going to come in, and this is what's actually happening. So sometimes that's been bad news over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
A lot of things have happened. I think number one is the economic recovery from the last recession has been so significantly different than the recessions that we've seen in our history, or at least since the imposition of the income tax in the early 90s. So that has really confused folks because they always expect a recovery to look the same.
Right. Yeah.
Our economy is changing under our feet. It's redefining itself in a way that I think we don't fully realize at this point. So the tax structure may not actually align with that new reality as more people are working from home, providing consultant services, doing, jobs all around the country. So all of that needs to still be ferreted out. One of the more significant problems, however, is that where the recovery has occurred has been mostly among in the corporate tax section, which is great for them, and in the quarterly filer portion of the income tax. The people who file quarterly and
Right.
then
Yep.
sure it up once a year. Not so much in the withholding portion of the income tax. And what that means is that the people sitting at their kitchen tables in Connecticut are not feeling the recovery still. At the rate that anybody would like. So it's been confounding for lots of reasons. There's been hundreds of millions of dollars already cut out of the budget. You can't cut your way out of it. You can't tax your way out of it. And because the reality is changing, it's hard to know sometimes what the next steps ought to be. I have some ideas about that, but it's difficult stuff.
And the governor really doesn't want to raise taxes, but there's other groups out there that says raise them. What are the major areas that are, we talk about pensions. What are a couple of the major areas that really need to be looked at?
I think at its heart, we have a recession this time. We've had them in the past. But wrapping our arms around the why is among the most important things we can do in trying to set Connecticut on a path of predictable and stable budgets into the future. So one of the issues has been the volatility in the revenue, all the up and down that's tied to the ups and downs of Wall Street. We put a plan forward a couple of years ago that created budget stability going forward. Legislature agrees they're not going to spend more than this amount over a 10-year growth average. And now we focused on pensions. Pensions continue to crowd out other things. And it's not so much the benefit design. We can argue about the benefit design, but it's really about the irresponsible decision making that Connecticut has made over the years, not making the full payments to the pension fund, having an unrealistic return assumption in the pension fund, early retirement incentive programs. All those have created an unfunded liability that is really strangling the rest of the budget. Now, Lowell Weicker in the early 90s put us on a flat payoff of that unfunded liability. But in 1997, the governor at the time, with help, decided that they were going to take their payment down and put us on a balloon mortgage payment. So their payment was low, but now it's growing at $100 million a year, and it's going to tap out at $6 billion in 1 year. So clearly unsustainable, and something needs to be done.
Okay. And maybe in 15 seconds, what would you do if you were the one that had the Harry Potter wand?
So stability, predictability. We got to get these big costs leveled out. We got to make sure Connecticut government keeps its word. We can't keep changing the rules of the game every time we have a little hiccup in the economy, because that's the only way that the families and the businesses of Connecticut are going to know how to plan for the future.
Okay. Kevin, thank you very much for
was good to see
spending
you,
some time. And we'll see who we have next time. And we thank you and your office for hosting us.
Happy to.
Okay?
Thanks.
Thank you.
Take
All
care.
right.